What are your tools for staying sane nowadays? Come join the conversation. Starts at this point to start with thanking Hashem, thanking God for another captive that somehow, we weren't told how, but somehow got out. And God willing, another 239 are going to get out the same way. Soldier's mother she lives in Kiryat Gat, and she works for the city. And she has a co-worker who's Chabad, who also works for the city with her. This woman, the soldier's mother's upstairs neighbor in their building, wrote a letter to the Rebbe for her daughter's safety, for her daughter's return. And something in that letter was saying there's going to be something like Tchias HaMesim. It's going to be a resurrection of the dead, something like that. And when the mother saw this letter, saw this answer of the Rebbe, she just held on to it very strongly. Like, her daughter's coming back. There's going to be Tchias HaMesim. Her daughter's coming back. Her daughter's coming back. Her daughter's coming back. And she shared this. She shared this with her friends. She shared this with her relatives. And she shared it with her coworkers. And when the daughter came back, the spokesperson for Kiryat Gat spoke about it and said, the Rebbe kept his promise. There was Tchias HaMesim. And I thought it was so amazing. I don't know what you saw, what you didn't see. I assume many people saw many things, but there was amazing seeing the video, seeing the celebration, seeing the whole city rejoicing. We are one. This is our daughter. This is our sister. It was amazing, the religious awakening that we see now in Israel like never before. Again, I don't know what you saw, what you didn't see. A lot of these things are Hebrew-based, but when the newscaster was announcing this on the news, and he asked to put on a kippah, and he made a bracha. He's making the bracha. And it was just unbelievable to see that on very secular Israeli television. What's my response? I want to thank God. And I want to thank God properly. I want to cover my head. Even more amazing, I saw this today. I don't know which day this week it happened. I don't go again. This is in Hebrew, and it's a high level Hebrew, so I don't know how much it's passing around on American WhatsApp. A Knesset member. Did anyone see this? A Knesset member is just.
I saw it this morning.
Amazing. I was just crying. Unbelievable. So I just want to put this in perspective here. Understand?
So beautifully.
This is a Knesset member. This is secular Israel. This is Likud. This isn't a religious party. It's not one of the religious party representatives. This is secular Israel, Likud, Knesset member. They're discussing a law to give compensation to help the families of the hostages. So that's what this is supposed to be about. She goes into almost like a monologue, like a sidetrack, going on and on about the mother of the soldier. What she was referencing, which I'm sure all of you have seen, was the clip of the mother. I think it was a week before, though I saw some things said the day before, but I think it was a week.
It was the Thursday before Shabbat.
Friday, yeah, that's what I figured. Right. She was Hafrashas Challah. I'm sure you all saw it. She was separating the challah, and she sends a very, very emotional prayer to God to save her daughter. And in the middle of all of her words and her cries and her tears, she says, God, I love you. Amid all of her pain and all of her beseeching to get her daughter out of Hamas. And this Knesset member, this Likud member, is going on and on about the absolute level of belief, the height of belief that this woman had. Now, if I said those words, it would make sense. If some rabbi or rebbetzin or speaker or some inspirational person is saying those words, it's true and it's beautiful, and look what the Jewish people are, and in the middle of tears and prayers for a daughter who's a Hamas hostage, in those words, like as we say, toch kadei dibor, just slipping out of your lips, and God, I love you, it would make sense. But this is a Knesset member. This is in the Israeli parliament. This is a Likud member, and she's talking about this woman's relationship to God, and how her awe, her admiration, her envy, you could say, of such a relationship to God. That's what's going on in the Knesset. The more you know Israel, the more you know how shocking that is, how unbelievable that, how it just was so indicative of wow, this is like religious awakening. We're too young. But we know, of course, historically, after the 6-Day War, there was a tremendous religious awakening in Israel and in the whole world. I felt here it's even stronger. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think because of all the years that have passed since 67. And of course, especially in recent times, and especially in more recent times, what's happened in Israel societally and politically. And then this to be happening on the television stations and in the Knesset hall, it's like, wow, look at the Jewish people. Look at what religious awakening really means. At the same time, it was very tragic seeing, the faces of 9 of our children, of our brothers, of our sons, that died. Very, very tragic, very hard when we look at those faces, young, beautiful faces, and just knowing that every person, every soldier that dies for Israel, every Jew that ever is killed because they're a Jew, like happened to 1,400 some people on October 7th, every one of those people is called a kadosh. Kadosh is the term for someone who dies al kiddush Hashem, dies sanctifying God's name. Lubavitcher Rebbe says any Jew who dies because they're a Jew is dying al kiddush Hashem. Any soldier who dies defending Israel is defending the Jewish land and the Jewish people is a kadosh, is dying al kiddush Hashem. And we're told about a kadosh that they go straight to Gan Eden. There's no concept of any judgment, no concept of anything they've ever done their whole life that doesn't fall away in the face of that purity and intense light of literally sacrificing your life for the Jewish people, sacrificing your life for God. It could be very difficult when we hear what's happening in Israel and America, as we discussed the preamble to the class. I have like 2 perspectives on it, so I wanted to briefly share both. And I'm open to everyone's because this is something we're all going through and we all have to figure out the healthiest way to handle it and the most appropriate way to handle it. I know Yael's going to disagree with me on this, but I'm still going to say, try not to read or watch the news. If you want to, stick to like Fox or what is it, CNBC, those types of stations, or at least you'll get a slant that will be more reassuring. Dina?
A friend of mine, Hashi Gruman, she has a chat called Faith Over Fear. I don't know if anyone has it, but it's only positive things. It's a constant barrage of news that's all positivity, and it completely changed my just overall mental health. So if anyone wants to join,
maybe put it on what is it?
It's just a WhatsApp chat.
WhatsApp chat. So maybe put an invite on our group.
Oh, smart. Okay, I'll do that.
And then you could tell people, because people that want the news and want to maintain their mental health. So it's
I know how addicting it is to always want to know what's going on and kind of have some sense of control. So when it's all positive and it's all just amazing, it's completely it really, really helps just with bitachon. It just, it's much easier.
Right. Now, Yael would say she wants to hear the whole truth.
Oh, I don't want to hear the negative. Nope.
She doesn't want the Israel version.
So I want to give another pitch for what Dina's also sharing regarding Faith Over Fear, that within the chat, there are links to several other chats. One on Amunah and Bitachon, for those who want to join an Amunah share. There's one on Shemir Salashin, for those who want to, it's not just positive on what's going on, but it's also so growth oriented. And honestly, I feel like that really is the news.
But I understand what Dina's saying. I think it's a good idea because, of course, we all want to know. We all think, we're going to see what we want to see. Same way they got out somehow one soldier or IDF. We don't know what they did. We don't just think Gachi's out. We want to see 239 that way. We want to see destruction of Hamas. We want to see they bombed that hospital and totally obliterated their 500 kilometers of tunnels. So of course we keep checking to find that out, to know when it's going to be posted. We want to know, but it's nice. But I'm saying if you want to go for not a censored Fox or CNBC, whatever those initials are, those are going to give you much. It's still the news. They still say things, but at least it's the slant is really positive. Is really, I don't want to say positive. Is really believing and supporting the Jewish people. So that's point one. And more importantly, my second point, which I just am doing myself, and it's just as what helps me the most, is pulling on everything you've absorbed over all our years of classes and anything else you've studied about God, about the unity of God, about the oneness of God. It's all God. It's only God. There is only God. Because otherwise things at a certain point can feel very overwhelming. And then when you recenter and realign, and you tell yourself several times, this is God's world. Everything's exactly God. Even evil, barbaric people making horrible, evil choices is part of God's plan. We're not taking him out of the picture. And when you're in that space and you keep reminding yourself until you feel safe and centered and confident. And that, coupled with not reading too much stuff that you know is going to be toxic, is my strategy. Someone else has other things that's been working for them that they'd like to share? Because we're all in this.
Saying more Tehillim.
You find the more as you say the Tehillim, it makes you feel empowered. I'm doing something. I'm making a difference. I'm helping.
Exactly. I think like when the loss of control kind of can like get, like what is our world? Okay, you know what? At least for me, Tehillim is always my go-to.
Sure. And it's Tehillim, and it's stuck there, and it's getting another Jew to put on tefillin, and it's getting I was so happy. I finally found the person in Israel who was going around putting up mezuzahs on the homes of the hostages. I was so happy. I'm like, I've got to send him money. And, this isn't like an official organization. I don't care. I can only send you a credit card. Get me a way to give you money through a credit card. He figured it out. I felt so, like you're saying, I can do something. I can do something that I know makes a difference.
I would love to donate to that if that's still an option.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I'm saying this is just, he took it on himself. To go house to, also army bases, as many people are going to army bases, but he's going house to house, every house that, obviously some houses you can't get to at this point in time, but every house that you can get to of a hostage in Israel, put up mezuzahs, check their mezuzahs, make sure there's mezuzahs. This again goes back to what the Rebbe said by Entebbe, when the hostages were taken in Entebbe, and the Rebbe says, check their mezuzahs. And the Rebbe also said that any Jew in the world who puts up a kosher mezuzah is protecting Jews in the world. So, like you're saying, Tehillim, or getting another Jew to put up a mezuzah, getting another Jew to put on tefillin, giving stuff, or whatever we do. Yes, I think I get that, because I also
not just your own home; it's protecting Jews everywhere.
That's what the Rebbe says.
I didn't know that. Okay, I thought it was just protecting your own.
Obviously, your mezuzahs protect you, but the Rebbe says that your mezuzahs, every Jew who puts up mezuzahs, is protecting Jews in the world. All Jews in the world are connected. We all are benefiting from mezuzahs. That's a protection for the Jewish people. So I like Dina's sanity pill, her sanity tool. Anyone else? Anything else anyone's been doing that's been helping them? Giving them this sense of power and sense of positivity?
I went to help pack supplies for the soldiers. I bought a lot of supplies. I dropped them off. But then I went a few times to help pack them, sort and pack, and it just it's heartwarming, first of all, to see everyone coming together. And then you feel like you're doing something.
You're doing something. Something. That's that sense. I think what Dina's saying with Tehillim and what you're saying with packing the supplies is the same thing. I'm sure everyone saw that beautiful video from Yachad Ninatzeach.
Gorgeous.
Unbelievable. It was all over. I'm sure you saw. You must have seen a clip of it. Came out a few days ago. This organization in Israel that is just saying, it's just the concept. The title is Yachad Ninatzeach. Together, we will be victorious. There's the soldiers in Gaza. There's the soldiers packing the supplies. There's the soldiers saying Tehillim. So this organization is literally doing anything and everything you can think of to help, to making a fun day for the children that were harmed or are out now displaced, to bringing washing machines, dryers, ironing boards, and generators. And again, that's an organization. You also see it individually. I saw someone said how this soldier, this medic in Gaza, he got an infection in his eye, not really taking care of your contacts when you're, in Gaza. He needed a taxi. The taxi driver took him to Beersheba, waited for him for his appointment, insisted he comes to his house, washed his clothes, fed him, had him take a nap, drove him back, and refused a penny for that whole time. And that was like, that sounds like you're saying. The taxi driver felt, I'm doing something. So,
my brother-in-law is an ER doctor in New York, and he put his name on a list to, help out. And they actually called him, and he went in last night for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Ashkelon, to a hospital in Ashkelon. Yeah.
Wow.
A friend of ours, Dr. Unger here from Chicago, he told me that he said in shul, and I'm saying when I was there that he's connected to a doctor in Shaarei Tzedek. As soon as that doctor goes to the front, he's going to Shaarei Tzedek to take him.
Oh, yeah. My husband also he's a vascular surgeon. He also put his name on a list, but there's a lot of doctors, they all want to go. So, thank God they all want to go and help out and do what they can.
It was amazing to see. I landed Monday morning back at JFK. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Monday morning, right after Yontif. And I passed the El Al gate and it was completely full. And I took videos and it was people on standby just waiting like to go back to Israel. It was incredible to see.
You're talking about this? You're talking about the thing?
El Al has been amazing because usually there's a weight restriction. There's a size restriction on how much people are allowed to schlep with them when they fly. El Al has not just looked away. Is there anything else that you need to send? Is there anything else you need to bring? Our downstairs neighbor, her son and daughter-in-law, who I'm friends with, he flies in and out for work, not anything medical. Every time he's flown back, he hasn't even flown with his own clothing. His bags have just been full with what we've all sent him with. And he said, no, El Al has said, if it's for our chayalim, we don't weigh it.
Well, that's good. But everyone's been like that. And like Yael said, the achdus, the unity. The unity and the love is also that I think about when I need strength. I keep thinking, God, look what you have. Look what you have. Do you remember what your people were like a month ago in Israel? Look what you have. Look what you got. You got it. Okay. Like we accomplished. We won. Like this is it. I mean, the love for you and the love for each other. And yeah. So what Dina's saying, feeling you have this need to do, and you can do in so many spiritual ways. And what Yael is saying, feeling this need to do, and we can do in so many physical ways. Both of those are great sanity tools, as are limiting anything toxic from the news, etc., as is remembering it's all God. You're talking about can help. It's like, this really sounds very comic, but it's true because my son's in the airport every night, signing up people for a letter in the Sefer Torah, his way of helping, giving them protection. And this is a true story. One night, like in the beginning after October 7th, this girl calls me. She's like, oh, I saw your son. He's perfect for a friend of mine. And she just asked me to find a shidduch, like for sure. Okay, I'm thinking like, whatever. Yeah, send me a resume. Anyway, I did not look into the name. That wasn't my point. But what my point was I took her. I always save people's contacts. How do I know this time she calls? We need to know who she is. So I saved her contact, and I guess she saves mine. So therefore, I see her statuses. This person is nonstop. I'm not going to say her name in case anyone from New York area knows her, but nonstop every single day. I see all day long on her statuses. She's just, okay, we're buying this. Who's donating for me money? Who's donating for me money? Who's donating for me money? Okay, good. We got this. The next day. And it's like, yeah, we all, each one of us in our own way, each one of us in our own abilities, each one of us in our own people we know and ways we can help. As Dina said, we can do. Say Tehillim, and we can get on people say mezuzahs and tefillin, and we can give more tzedakah, and we can light Shabbos candles early, and we could be more modest, and we can be more careful with love and with gossip, and we can do physically, like buying things for the soldiers and for the displaced families and sending it and packing it. And I mean, I see this woman in Israel saying, reaching out to women whose husbands are at war, I will do your laundry for you. I will pick it up. I will deliver it. Send it, give me your address. I need it. And like, that's she's doing. And my cousin who lives in Connecticut, but is by her sister now in Yerushalayim for a bit, saying she went down just to cook and serve for the soldiers. She said, you can't have a better feeling than that. It's giving to them, it's giving to her. It's this sense that we can do. So those are great tools that really, really make us safe and confident and centered, which is the idea. I wanted to speak today about this amazing nevuah of Yeshaya that completely must be talking about this time. But I don't have time because I see it's time 14. But I just wanted to briefly go through the Parshias because this whole week as I'm reading the Parsha, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is living with the times. This is what's happening. And I felt that every week since Bereshis. So I just want to remind you of that because again, it's also a very, very empowering feeling when we see Torah is saying exactly what it wants to be. Well, that's what we're wanting. That's what Torah is saying. And Torah creates reality. So we know the first week, October 7th, is Bereshis. Bereshis is first Rashi. Why are we talking about creation? Because there's going to come a time when the world will say, you're thieves, you're colonizers, you stole this land, it doesn't belong to you, you took it from the people that lived here. and we say, look in the Bible. God created this land. God gave it to the Jewish people in Parshas Lech Lecha, this past Shabbos portion. It's ours forever. Then the next week we went to Noach, and we all had the same sense of like, oh my gosh, Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. The world is full of Hamas. The world is full of violence. Rashi says Hamas is robbery. Onkelos says Hamas are kidnappers. And we wash away the Hamas. That was amazing. The whole Noach, I was like, that's great, God. You are washing away the Hamas, washing away the violence and robbery, thievery, kidnappers, aggressors. You are washing away Hamas. Lech Lecha, last week, it's talking about God saying to Abraham, this land is yours for your children forever. Walk the land as you traverse the land. You are conquering it. And his nephew was taken hostage. And he overcame this incredible, impossible to overcome force, these 4 insanely powerful kings to rescue the hostages. Yes. So every week it was like, yes, gracious. Yes, Noach. Yes, Lech Lecha. And the same thing now with Vayera. Today's portion. First, I'm reading about Hashem destroying Sodom and the other 3 cities. Absolute, aggressive, evil, subhuman behavior that these cities had. And God is showering the fire and sulfur and destroying them. I'm like, yes, that's the times. That's the Parsha. That's what Torah is declaring as reality. God destroys evil. That's what the Torah is saying. God destroys evil. And then continuing on, today's portion was a bit long. Sarah's taken captive. Sarah's a hostage. Sarah's captured by Avimelech. And through the miracles of God, Sarah's released with money, with honor, unharmed. And I'm like, yes, Torah creates reality. God frees the captives miraculously, and they're unharmed. And then, of course, as the Parsha continues, we have Sarah seeing Yishmael, the father of many of the Arabs of today. And at that point, obviously later in his life, Yishmael did repent. But at that point, Yishmael wanted to murder Yitzchak. No, Yishmael was already almost 14 when Yitzchak was born. He spent 14 years being Abraham's son, Abraham's heir, Abraham's only child. And suddenly, he's chopped liver. Suddenly, Abraham's real child appears. And Yishmael wanted to murder him. Yishmael wanted to do everything he could to get rid of him. What could he do? He could murder him. And Yishmael was trying to, in a playful way, so we could pretend it was a game, murder Yitzchak. Yishmael wanted to murder the Jew, Yitzchak. And Sarah says to Abraham, get rid of him. Get rid of him. And Abraham didn't want to get rid of him. Abraham's the embodiment of kindness. This is his son. It's his son, and it's his son. And God says to Abraham, listen to Sarah. Listen to everything she's telling you. It's not a overprotective mom, overindulgent, worried Jewish mother. No. This is the voice of divinity. This is the voice of a godly spirit. That's the voice of Sarah. Listen to her and get rid of Yishmael. And Avram does. And he literally throws him out of his house. He's supremely wealthy. He throws him out with like nothing because that's what God said. That's the will of God. So when every week, I've been feeling this every week, and each week it's so strong. This week it's so strong. I think today, God, you destroy the evil. God, you rescue the hostages. God, you're saying Yishmael cannot be around to harm Yitzchak. No, we've got to get rid of him. He can't be harming Yitzchak. So Torah creates reality. We have to live with the times, which living with the times means literally living with the Torah portion of the week. And the Torah portion of the week molds reality. And that's our reality. That's what we have to know is reality. I guess I will stop here. So I didn't accomplish what I thought we were going to accomplish. But of course, we did many other wonderful things. So Mirz Hashem, next week, I will share with you this amazing Nevuah of Yeshaya that must be talking about what's going on right now. Thank you so much for joining. And we should all take strength and use the ideas. Use whatever's working for you to have strength, to have confidence, to have joy, to have certainty, and to share miracles, to share lots and lots of miracles. Thank you for joining.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.